With the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic, when you choose an embroidery design, you have lots of options to play with it. We're talking moving a design around on your screen. You can size it, you can rotate it, you can mirror image it. So let's just go into the machine and just pick something fun. All right, here's our little children's designs. And as he comes in, like right now, he's not in the hoop. So if you touch right down here, you can center him right at the bottom. So speaking of moving a design around, what you have the option to do is actually see the positioning of that design. So for any time you need to get it to an exact location, you can actually touch those numbers and turn it to 0. So it's right in the center, or even turn it back to 0, 0, and then it's right in the center of the entire hoop. But you can actually find the exact location as you're moving it around. Now this design came in and my hoop size is fairly small. I do own the 200 by 200 hoop, so it did tell me that that's the hoop it fits in. So of my other hoops, the rest would be too big and this one would be too small. So if I had chosen, I have, for example, right now, the 260 by 200 hoop, the one that came with the machine. So if I choose that hoop, that does give me a little bit more playground to move it around. So speaking of moving, sometimes I do like to stitch something, say, in the lowest corner or the outside edge of the machine. And so you notice that when it goes outside the hoop itself turns red. So one of my favorite features to use is the Move into Hoop feature. It's only available when a design is hanging out off the edge. And when you touch it, it comes right into the two edges when it's outside a corner. And if it's just outside a single edge, it will bring it right to the edge there. So for sizing or moving, those are options. You can do very small incremental moving just by touching the little arrows here. One little touch you're noticing moves it like 1/10 of a millimeter. So you might not see a lot of change, but if you touch and hold it, it will move a little faster. But you'll often see me moving it with my finger just to get to a general area and then fine-tuning it with the arrows. Okay, so I'm going to just put it back to the center. The next one over is rotation. Now you don't even have to choose rotation, but if you do touch the little circle at the top center of your design and touch and drag it, now he's on his head and rotating around. So once again, if we rotated, right now he's outside the hoop, so it wouldn't let us stitch that. And if I change something that I don't want, remember the undo button. So if we just want to rotate that a little bit, we do have some movement. But what if we wanted to move it a little further? Next, we could size it. So once again, you can choose the sizing feature, which will allow you to go up or down 20%. So if I was to reduce this down, do keep in mind that the stitch count is still 24,000 stitches for this design, whether he's that big or that big. So you're not really like gaining stitches when you size it. That's where software comes in. And you can download the free Viking Premier Plus 2 software for doing additional sizing. Then you're not limited, other than your hoop size, of how big or small, and it will reduce the stitch count. But for on the machine, that's why they limit you to 20% up or down. And I'm going to just do a quick few undos and just get me back to kind of a normal amount of sizing, so I'm not moving him too much around. So that's for sizing. For mirror image, we do have where you can come here to the toolbox and watch his hands, because he's kind of symmetrical. Now he's flipped and flopped, so now his green hand is on the right and now it's on the left. So you can go up or down or all the directions. So you can have all of those active at once. So mirror imaging, sizing, rotation. Let me show you one more thing on sizing. So you notice there's a little lock in the middle of the sizing. So if we were just using the arrows, we're making them bigger, one little notch at a time instead of with our finger. But if you were to unlock it, now we could make him shorter, because now I'm only sizing his up and down, and I can make him wide. Oh, that's narrower. We can make him wider. So again, within the 20% range, but now you can do it unproportionally instead of proportionally. So have some fun, be able to play around with your designs and see what you can create.